Thank you very much, everybody, for coming first of all.
We can't hear you.
It's perfect that you can't hear me.
That's okay.
First of all, thank you very much again, like I said, for everybody for coming. When we decided amongst the family who was going to, give this speech, we basically did a rock, paper, scissors type of thing. It came down to myself and Maggie, and I ended up losing, so I'm the one up there talking. 50 years ago, today was when Mom and Dad got married, and when you try and paint that visual as to what would have happened 50 years ago, it's interesting to say the least. If you look at it, you would have had the Stefanellis and the Pekowskis and the Kazmaiers on one side of the hall, and you would have had the Lamanas on the other side of the hall. And when you sort of, if you knew my grandmother and grandfather Lamana, my grandfather was, a kind, gentle, soft-spoken type of man. I think my grandmother, and for the short time I got to know her, I think I was 9 when she passed away, 8 or 9 when she passed away, but she seemed to be the type that was, she sort of wore the pants, I would think, in the family. So, just painting that visual of the wedding 50 years ago, you probably figure that, like I said, one side of the family is the Stefanelli clan, the other side's the Lamana clan. I could sort of visualize my grandmother Lamana sort of coming up with every single Italian curse word that she knows, looking at this, shaking her head, saying, "Hey." And here we are 50 years later. I mean, go figure. I mean, it's hard for all of us. Marion and Michelle will be able to attest to this, and probably the grandchildren too, with Keith, Elisa, Brian, and Maggie. You'll have your opportunity too. But growing up, whenever you introduce the family or introduce parents, here's my mom and dad, welcome them or introducing them. You always got the same, after a little while, you always got the same feedback afterwards from somebody, and it was the same question that would come back where people would sort of say, what's wrong with your mother? If I knew the answer, I got notes here too, so I called the house a couple weeks ago to talk to Mom. And for me to call the house on any other time besides a birthday or anniversary is a rare occasion. In fact, I think when my name comes up on the caller ID, it says something like, Ralph's son with a couple of question marks. The phone company doesn't recognize my phone number. But I called the house a couple weeks ago and was talking to Mom. And of course, whenever I call and it's not a special occasion, like I said, she gets all worried and what's wrong? Is everything okay? Mom, don't worry, everything's fine. I went to, I just went to the doctors today, had a physical, my yearly physical. Doctor gave me a prostate exam, and that reminded me to call Dad. But anyway, we started talking, we were shooting the breeze a little bit, and Mom was mentioning how she wants to retire in the spring, maybe do a little bit of traveling. She's worked, at the insurance company, how many years now? 30 years? 30 years, so she's been at, 30 years at that one job, as opposed to 30 jobs in 1 year. like I said, they were talking about retiring and how they, mom and dad said they want to travel and spend time. It came up a little bit where, she was worried about, well, not worried, but she says, if we have to, we're going to spend your inheritance, which is perfectly fine. If that's what you want to do, travel, maybe go back to Italy, or, travel other places around the world, and that's great. But she made it a point to say that she, had no desire to be a burden on any one of the kids, myself, Marion, and Michelle. Now, Marion and Michelle, let me tell you something. They might say it now. If the time does ever come where they do become a burden, and one of us has to take them, I'm not losing that rock, paper, and scissors. If I have to, if I even come close, what I will do is I will cut both of your fingers off, so all you can do is I'll have the paper to cover it every time. So there's no way. There's no way that that's going to happen with me. We talk about the phone call again. This is something that my kids, Keith and Elisa, can relate to. Whenever that other time that I do call the house and it's a birthday or an anniversary or something like that, it's a we have our own little system where it's I'll make the first phone call and make sure that it's the answering machine. And that's almost like a reverse, 911, where I get right out to them and say, okay, call now. Nobody's home, leave a message. And I don't think they've picked up on the fact that, 3 new messages, 10:55,
Don't think we don't know.
10:56, 10:57, the 3 of us all leaving a message for the anniversary of birthday. Basically, that's about it. Like I said, I appreciate everybody coming. I'd personally like to thank Marion and Michelle for all their hard work doing this. I couldn't have done it without your help.
Thanks for stopping by, Ralph.
Here we are, like I said, 50 years later with Mom and Dad. If anybody can explain it to me, please. I'd be more than willing to take some sort of explanation, but God bless you. Many more years of health and happiness, and we love you, and happy anniversary.